that there's no way for them to take over the Varia position.
Okay, with that being said, we're starting to move into game number 2. Team SMG currently at match point as they might be bringing another team down with them and not let them qualify for the knockout stages. Let's jump right into the drafting phase, and it's going to be RRQ here once again on the blue side up against Team SMG on the red side. Akai, hell nah.
Nope. Not after game number 1. That's literally what gave SMG so many chances at that game. It could have been over so much sooner, but this may actually be a bit of foreshadowing to what RRQ wants to go for. Maybe they want to go for the same exact strat, just with the Akai removed.
Yep. That means that Team SMG, I think that it's better to let go of the Guinevere because I think that they can go for the Baxia Angela instead, or Baxia Matilda. So maybe it's better if they ban something like a Brody, actually.
Oh.
I'll be surprised. Or maybe a Lilia, in fact.
I feel like if they ban out the Brody, that's an immediate marksman pick coming up from the side of RRQ Akira, right? I'm just going to make the assumption there. The Angela is going to get banned out from the side of Team SMG. Okay, so one major change, which is the Akai ban from RRQ.
So there's Guinevere, and then you go Baxia plus the...
Bruno?
Baxia Matilda, maybe? Or Baxia Bruno, actually, is pretty good.
I think either or, both of which, I think they can hold off on the box here for now, only because, at least for the Guinevere, it's still pretty flexible.
Yes, you're
they
right.
have multiple options as well that could go into the jungle. So going for the Bruno just kind of makes sense. The Matilda also kind of makes sense as well. Let's see whether or not that's going to be the game plan coming in for Coach Pao and the rest of his team.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Matilda Bruno will be the
Always
best.
on the way.
But again, here, stays the though Matilda Baxia. Yeah, maybe they want RQ to pick the Bruno first, and then they can go for something like a Claude. Since they have the Matilda anyways, they have protection for the Claude, and they have a vehicle for the Claude as well.
You're right. That'll be very, very interesting. Oh wait, we also totally forgot about Ixia as well, both of which would be really interesting to see, right? So we get the Bruno lock in here. Let's see what RRQ Akira is going to go for.
Oh, they okay.
It's the preemptiveness, right? They're like, I want. You're gonna pick Faramis? I already have the Lilia.
Now's the question: Faramis or Ixia? Do they want to go for a bold pick here?
I think Ixia is better in a way because you have the Matilda and the Baxia.
Exactly.
I guess I don't know how expert Sasa is with the Ixia. So if they want to go like if they want to just secure the comfort, they might just go Claude.
Yeah,
you know?
I think, man, I mean, you're already at this point of time, be bold.
Yeah, I agree.
Be brave.
Be brave.
BB.
BB.
Yeah, I do like the Ixia bit, but... okay.
I'm telling you, Stormy, looking at Sasa is like, no, I'm the carry now.
So wait. I think I now understand. I understand it. What's gonna happen is RQ will be forced to ban both Claude and Ixia. They will go carry instead as their last pick.
Do they really want to go carry in these types of situations?
They will not have any choice after the ban on the if the Ixia and the Claude will be banned out. They will not have any other choice but the carry. So I think that they're more concerned about the Stormy hero than the Sasa hero.
When the body suffers.
Okay,
what?
Faith into Sasa and
Bring it on.
Never mind.
They're like, nah.
Never mind.
No more of this. Get Benedetta out of here. No more brass tacks this time around.
I agree.
They're taking the playmaking out of SMG, man. It started with the Akai, now it's the Benedetta. They might just go for, I mean, the gold lane ban seems inevitable though.
Yeah, Ixia maybe. I think that especially because
Minotaur.
oh, okay. So they really want to go Claude this time.
Interesting.
Team
They have a
SMG.
Valentina this time. I would actually think that maybe they would let that open, but Claude had to get taken out here. That's very hard to get a pick off with when you play the Guinevere.
Yeah, man, this second part of the drafting phase, especially when it comes to that bans, is so responsive from both Coach Cabral as well as Coach Pao. They're both looking at each other, and it's like, it's a tic-tac-toe game. Eventually, you're going to get one of those corners to finish this game off. As first pick in the second phase, going on to Team SMG, what's it gonna be?
The Khalid is still open, so you might want to go Tiroth for Team SMG. Something along the lines of a non-counterable XP. Surely there still is Uranus. The Paquito looks also very good. I don't know how good Smooth is with the Paquito.
He's pretty decent.
What about Arlet?
Arlet, I mean, it's banned out,
Ooh.
unfortunately, right? If it was up on the table, for sure, that's an early lock-in for him, right? 3 more seconds.
Yep.
Mikito.
Mikito.
Good call there, Wolf. Good call. Now we know we have multiple options, and especially for gold lane that's already uncontested at this point, as RRQ have locked in the Bruno.
Yeah.
What are they going to finish it off with?
Lapo or Yuzhong, so that they know that whatever marksman there will be, it will be enough for the jump, right? And also, if the Ixia will be played, at least they have an access to the backlines. You might be tempted to go for Khalid again if you're RRQ, because honestly, Tekashi played it well, and it kind of fits the profile of how Tekashi wants to play. That means that you need a way to also jump the backlines. What if they go? Yeah, well, never mind.
Yutong will
Dirop
into Kufra.
Okay.
Okay. So they're just playing their own style. They're like, we have set tanks, we have ways to jump that backline, and we have an executioner just in case we peel them off.
Oh,
He's not feeling it.
You called it.
yes, I understand it. Oh, okay. So why I'm very happy about this is, it is actually a hero. You know, Claude and Ixia, they don't necessarily win against the Bruno.
Yeah.
Like, they can even it out. Carry is a 50-50 though. It's a 50-50 call. If you're good enough, you can win against the Bruno.
Really?
Wow.
In comparison to an Ixia?
Ixia will not win against the Bruno per se. It will survive.
It will
the Bruno.
survive. I mean, in all
Will
trades, okay. All right, we'll get a little bit more into the laning phase about this, because I think it's going to be quite the game changer for either side.
Yep.
Remember, this is all about, like, well, not necessarily early game, but at least they have a little bit more flexibility around that mid game, so they don't get that brass tacks against Team SMG as we start rolling into this match point for them. M5 World Championship group stage here. It's on the line. The knockout qualification for RRQ Akira comes down to this. They need to break this game open. They need to push it to a game number 3. As we walk in towards game number 2, it's going to be Team SMG on the red side once again to hold them back. RRQ Akira on the blue side.
It's not just the last hope for RRQ, but it's the last hope for Brazil. Bigatron's Suns have been knocked out already. And now we'll see if SMG will deny that chance away from this region, from this team.
The carry, although I say that it can win against the Bruno 1v1, it still is a risk. Like I said, Bruno will have the time of his life no matter what, right? Because it's the easier hero to execute in the gold lane. But the carry, if you're good enough, if you know your matchups, and if you outplay your opponent, the Bruno, you will be able to do so.
Yeah, it's all going to come down to the usage of the light wheel, right? That's going to be the big game changer for a lot of these carry players in their counter matchups. But so far, Shlomi and Miko doing a good job kind of trying to keep control over this mid lane. They're really fighting for it.
Yeah.
They're doing a good job.
The moment they pick up the Valentina instead of the Claude, it kind of really told me that, yeah, they might be eyeing for the carry, but I didn't think that they would be bold enough to actually do that. Well, I guess to echo what what Gideon have said, nothing else matters anymore with Team SMG, right? So they should be. I mean, if there's a time to be bold enough, this is the time.
Yeah, no, it's great to see. I remember doing a daily recap on my YouTube channel that you can go find at Guinea and Q.
Hey.
With Renmar, he mentions that Sasa is actually quite a stable laner, so why not give faith to him, right?
Yep.
Have faith in him in his matchups, and then start investing in other players and arming them better.
Yeah, and I think for SMG here, to talk a little bit about Wolf's statement there earlier about the laning phase, I think it's kind of irrelevant anyways, because they have a Mathilda, right? It's an auto win for the lane. Healing, sustain, and also a bit of poke. Same thing goes for RRQ though, because they have better wave clear in the mid lane. Lily is just all over the place. Wait, I believe that's a spatial migration and an engage on the other side of the map. Sockside to be poked down, and now with 1 HP, he's able to dodge for a bit, but the Gloops takes him out. It's gonna be the black shoes popped in. Tekashi looking for one last hit, a good knockout strike, but a spatial migration saves Tekashi for a bit, delays his death, and is able to just get the right timing on that kill to smooth. Tyler's Revenge by Louise, knocking Miko up. Stormy's looking for an angle. King finds a retreat now, a defensive spatial migration. Louise gonna be poked down, going to be stunned up. He does have the flicker, however, to escape.
Interesting. Okay, again, a lot of respect is being given over. I think Team SMG kind of underestimated how much Dairoth could actually do in the earlier stages of the game, and that's why they're not going for the instant invade on the orange side for RRQ with Kira, knowing that he's walking back into it. So now we look at the gold earned. Gusta, Logusta, and King are in nice spots with Sasa and Stormy just behind them. But in the meantime, Smooth, like, this matchup is extremely volatile.
Yeah. And I gotta say, RRQ Akira is still very good at the laning early stages of the game. Despite having the backshot as well as the Matilda, they still got 2 kills and got the turtle against Team SMG. It's actually pretty massive. And they're going to be very comfortable now going for 2 lanes? Double lane Dairoth?
Okay.
That's the first time I'll see that.
Yeah, you don't see that very often. As EXP laners, you don't usually get that much love. You kind of have to kind of hold your own, be financially independent, you know? Got to find your own way.
I mean, he does have the Wilderness Blessing, so it makes sense why he's rotating across the map. He doesn't go for the Rupture. Violent Requiem used up Miko, locked down. He stayed in the air till he died there.
The airtime was nasty. Can't do much about that, but oh no, Sasa.
Oh, can't dash away. That's a bouncing ball, and Sasa will be pinned down. King picks up a killing spree. Stormy, one last hit. He gets the clone in time, and Gusta, he's just taking the turret, plating. Meanwhile, Luis gets a good rage, claps them onto the wall. Stormy forced to use the black shoes. And RRQ gets a big win in the early game.
Huge win. I mean, it's starting to be almost like a repeat of game number 1, right? Now, if it is going to be similar to game number 1, we expect RRQ Akira to make it to at least 5K by the 7th minute mark, right?
Yeah.
For the most part, that should be the story that should be told, right? These turtles are dangerous. RRQ Akira are going to drag out this laning phase for as long as possible. And honestly, I got to give it to Sagan. He's been pretty consistent in his laning phase and as well as these early fights.
Got to agree with you. Spatial Migration, 2-man this time with the Violent Requiem, but Miko's able to purify out of this one. Takashi now jumping on the Saksa. Abyssum Strike dodged away from. Now Knockout Strike, bringing him back all the way to the Shield Unity. And that is a 1-for-0. This time is for SMG. RRQ on the back foot. Saksa pulling the turtle as far away as possible from King, as Stormy tries to distract him. Back, Louise. Oh, beautiful timing by Stormy. Retry battle from King and Saksa, and it's going to be King with a 1-level lead who secures the turtle. Sagan flickers out to safety. Who gets the more value there?
Wow, I think Team SMG, think about it, because they badly need the recovery. And I'm only saying that because they were trailing behind for quite a long time. So the fact that they finally get a W when it comes to skirmishes, going to be a breath of fresh air for them.
Yeah, I think that overall, I mean, I don't know. There was definitely a moment of PTSD for Mirko there, especially when the Dairoth started jumping back in, but Smooth, financially independent. How long can he hold?
Not that long. He just gets shut down.
Happens to the best of us. I mean, EXP experience right there.
Yep, it happens, man. Sometimes you go for a 1v1, sometimes there's a random Guinevere.
Now I'm getting PTSD from that one. That's the real life. But let's come back to the top side, right? Because that's where the most important players are going to be.
Oh, good catch, and the Tyrant's Rage doesn't even need it to connect to the wall. Now Stormy, terrifying. Oh, Gusta 1 HP, still able to cut away. Stormy looking for one last hit, but is not able to find it. Meanwhile, King is in the bush, waiting with Takashi. That Wilderness Blessing.
Oh
you saw Takashi bot, now you see him talk.
God.
Oh my goodness. And RRQ Akira knew that the shoes will be there eventually because Stormy copied the Lilia and they punished him duly. The thing is, they also pushed up top, so I think that's the even bigger objective that they were able to get up top lane.
Yeah, and worse yet, if Sasa was playing just a marksman with just a wee bit more range, just a wee bit more, he wouldn't be stutter stepping underneath his turret to finish off the kill that was so given to him. Served on a silver platter, like an Ixia. Even a Claw, just throw out the BMI if you have to, but man, that's gotta hurt.
Yep. That is the risk for RRQ Akira. I mean, for Team SMG. You understand why they went for the carry, but they're paying for that for those transgressions. And Luis is now gonna be just babysitting Gusta Lagusta at this point.
Oh, that's a lot of damage. 2 basic attacks.
90 damage.
Okay, stop it, man, please. You've already got so much crit, and it's not even the empowered auto attacks, and they're doing more than 500 damage each time, brother. Come on.
The crit's up to 1,300.
Oh, stop.
Owies.
7 minutes in.
Big ouchies. Big ouchies. I mean, now we're at the 7-minute mark, right? And previously in game number 1, it was 5K. Now it's only 3.7. It feels like this is a slower snowball that's accumulating for RRQ Akira.
Oh, good
Look at the
bouncing
Kofra.
ball.
Oh my god.
That was brilliant. It actually took away from a lot of SMG's power in that initiation, and now it's going to be the re-engage from RRQ. A good guiding win, though. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, a bit of strike! Oh, Tekashi!
Just at the edge. Stormy didn't pop the Purify because, I mean, like, it might not even help him, but any port in the Storm, Team SMG, unfortunately, might lose this turret.
Look at that, the physical defense shred right onto Louise's Tyrant's Revenge. You didn't see that rage because you didn't even need to land it. Now it's Tekashi again onto the back, zoning Sasa, forcing a guiding win from Miko. What the heck is going on? RRQ Akira are just pushing in mid. They're just going straight in.
I mean, this is the chaos that you wanted to see. You wanted to see RRQ Akira kind of pump up the gas, be hyper aggressive, go further and further and further, really pushing their limits against Team SMG. And they found a really good opportunity during the scramble, and it feels like Team SMG can't keep up with that tempo, like similar to game number 1, but even so, that they're getting staggered time and time again.
Yeah. Like, they really need Sasa to I mean, speed up the farming right now, but what can they do? They can't even go double lane now because Guinevere, the king, is just literally just all over the place. No place is safe for Sasa to farm, especially because his Purify is on cooldown for 30 more seconds.
I'm sorry, Wolf. I can't help but laugh every time I see Tekashi. He's so fast. he's everywhere.
Yeah. It's Khalid at home. Dyroth just running around.
Wilderness Dyroth.
Oh man,
You gotta love it.
That's wild.
It's really wild.
Look at him! Look at him! What? He's so fast. I'm coming, boys.
I'm getting there. I'm getting a marathon run all the way from top side. It's great to see.
It might be even funnier if he wears that skin, the KOF skin, right? Because he's doing like the animation, like Naruto, like Naruto.
Oh, circling eagle, Sagan. Oh, he's holding that choke point really well. Now Tekashi jumps in. It's an abyssum strike to take Saksa out. No red tree, just like that, and King just secures it for free. A good Terrify, a good chunk of damage, but Gusta Lagusta is untouchable. Smooth jumps in with a punch, but he's not able to find anything. SMG forced back, and RQ Hero.
Flicker!
Flicker forward from Gusta Lagusta. Unable to find any more of those hits, but what a win.
What a win. Gusta, gonna have to be reminded of game number 1 where some of
Be
the
careful, man.
overspeeding from RRQ Akira might be detrimental for the team, but they can celebrate now. I think that was a well-played Lord Dance that you saw from RRQ Akira, and more importantly, Tekashi with the positioning as well as the entirety of RRQ Akira, honestly, punishing Sapsa.
Ooh. Wow, a good lockdown. Smooth gets knocked up. The airtime was wild. Saksa can only just watch it. Luis finds the rage. Brings them back. That's a kill over Tekashi with the abyssum strike. Sasa still surviving. King backing away. And of course, Tekashi survives as well. Stormy just very, very low. Few good shots, and that's a double picked up. Tekashi once again finds the back, and it is an equalizer. Fast as the Dyroth, 11 minutes.
Woo! The Kingdom strikes back 1-1, forcing a Game 3 onto Team SMG. I don't know about you, but the last Kage has got some competition, and Tekashi, if only he had the correct skin, he may be changing his name to Kakashi real soon.
Yes, 100%. I'm gonna have to hand it to the draft that we saw from RRQ Akira, especially when they went in for the Dyroth. How do you actually pronounce it? Dyroth or Dyroth?
I call it Dyroth.
I call it Dyroth.
Dyroth, all right.
Dyroth sounds more epic, you know?
Yeah.
Especially when he's running like
Dyroth.
that. You know how fast he is? He's fast as heck, boy!
He's hella fast.
Ciao! Coming out from
He is
Tekashi.
speed.
Yes, he's speed. And that Kufra, I really love that touch. I think along the way, we kind of predicted that a Paquito will be picked up, right?
Yeah.
We mentioned that. But at the same time, the first hero that came to my mind was the Dyroth. because I think that Dyrith is a hero that doesn't have unnecessary counter during that moment. Like we saw that the Teresa was already banned out, and if they pick that up, I mean, there's no actual quote-unquote counter because the Benedetta is already out, right?
That's true.
So that's why
true.
it would have been better as the fourth pick. But now that they have access to it, they countered the Paquito, and they have this Kufra. I think the Kufra was a nice touch because, in a way, the Matilda will not be running around with the Guiding Wind, and you also have that Paquito that's really just nullified because of that Kufra. And of course, who's our MVP? It's King. 4-0-9.
Disgusting gameplay, right?
Exactly.
Because you're expecting Luis to be the one that's like, oh, I'm going to catch everybody. I'm going to go for those big engages. And King's like, no, step aside, brother. It's all me. I'm going to start it off, going to get that airtime. You guys just got to follow up.
Yep. And there's also that knock-up, that free tech coming out from the Kufra to actually allow King to also land big ultimates. But you gotta have to hand it to both King as well as Takashi. They relieved what normal roamers would do to roam around the map, right? And that meant that this Luis Kufra was able to just babysit the Bruno. By the way, great fight. Level of first turtle fight coming out from Team RRQ. Eventually, they have punished Takashi, but King, look at his positioning, and he's very patient about it. And the trap, 5 people at 6 minutes up top just because of movement speed and Takashi. Beautiful min-maxing with that Business Strike.
I'm telling you, that's going to be the name of my next fanfic, Relieving My Roamer, man. Because again, how fast is Takashi moving on with the Wilderness Breasting? It's like he has the Khalid passive to kind of close that distance super quick, but
He is a roamer.
He is a roamer, but let's not forget, like, for most people, you're thinking about the quote-unquote armor strip meta when Irithel was still very relevant. You technically kind of have that with the Worldy on top of having this Gyroth, right?
True.
Yeah.
Stacks up.
Stacks upon stacks.
Look at that.
It's tough. It's tough. And let's not forget the one extra bit of flavor. You mentioned it just now with Luis on this Kufra. Not only is he able to engage, but more importantly so, once you have that momentum, people kind of tend to forget that he's there.
Yeah.
And then he comes on in and it's like, oh, he helps his team overreach these boundaries.
Yes, exactly. Because there are a lot of jumps coming out from RRQ Akira, and then you would think that after 1 or 2 jumps, it's already over. Guess what? The Kufra comes in. And man, you gotta have to remember these, boys. Diroth, or Dyroth, this is how you play it. Wilderness Blessing after the Firmness, as well as the Tank Emblem, you're gonna be set for days. And then, when you compare it to Smooth with this Paquito, there's not much that he can do when it comes to like eliminating Takashi. Naturally, the Diroth or the Dyroth will win that laning stage, and you saw how well he managed his lead over Team SMG.
Well, actually, when man, this is because I play EXP way too much. It's one of these really volatile matchups where Paquito is looking to make sure he minimizes his trades against the Dyroth, right? He doesn't want to go for these prolonged ones. But the way that Takashi builds already, like, it infuriates me because I want him to be so lane dominant, but that's not his goal. His goal is to make sure that, hey, you're stuck in this lane, I'm going to move faster than you, despite the fact that you have a champion stance, which gives you a free ability to double jab across the map.
Exactly. It's like he's playing like a Benedetta in a way. Which is great because Takashi was known because of the Benedetta last M4.
He was just super fast across the map, and on top of that, despite him, you know, holding the Paquito down, he rotates, and the base damage alone is enough to solo kill some of these laners, right? I mean, Stormy was obliterated by that Abyssal Strike. Sure, it was some help from Sagan, but still, that's impressive with just a Fury Hammer.
Yes. This makes you really excited about RQ Akira, who would kind of root for them to get into the playoffs. They still aren't safe, though. And Team SMG, after that draft, that risk of a draft that they did, they may have been rethinking it now. Surely the carry made sense in the grand scheme of things, but when it comes to execution, they weren't able to reach that power spike. And that Valentina that they third pick, you understand why Stormy is going to be the priority when it comes to the laning. Unfortunately, it wasn't the case, and now they just really suffered from all their gambles.
Yeah, and as they kept on playing these 50-50s, eventually it's going to stack up one upon the other. It's a learning experience for sure for the side of Team SMG, right? Can't blame them for this, but RRQ Akira really nicely played. Love the way that they actually snowballed this composition out of control. That's what you always want to see with these types of compositions. And the best part, they were doing it throughout the mid game rather than like, you know what, we're going to bank it all and get outscaled after the early game, you know? And again, we mentioned earlier, we don't like them being so systematic, but when you have a composition that allows you to overreach your boundaries, when it lands, it really hits.
Man, I'm just so happy to see this because it's like a very quote unquote vamos thing to do.
Yeah.
That RQ
So,
did. That
yeah.
literally overtaking
vamos,
the map.
mid. Come over, let's go. Let's just push mid.
Yeah, this is just so fun to see, and I think that maybe this is the way to go for RRQ. I wonder, like the pep talk really worked.
Wow.
Yeah, the pep talk, you know.
All right, I'll give another pep talk, right? Valentina this game, I do not understand it, right? That last pick, I try to give it the benefit of the doubt, but it only just gave RRQ even more of a reassurance that, all right, we're not going to go for any more big ultimates. And even in the first phase, it was just maybe the Guinevere, the Requiem, that's it, right? I mean, Black Shoes. There were no real big ultimates to give to the Valentina, and that really showed. Despite him dealing quite a lot of damage, there was no real use for that IMU that much. Like, we didn't get to see that.
I mean, there's only very few like niche situations. Like, oh, let's say if I want to take out the Abysm Strike from Takashi, for an example, if you're really looking to be that far forward. But that's the thing, right? The ultimates, the big ultimates that you could take requires you to be point blank in your face. And you're Valentina. You don't necessarily build these types of defensive items.
Yeah, I guess the only big ultimate that you can get is the Tyrant's Rage, perhaps. And you're kind of forced to get the Black Shoes as well for Stormy, so that at least you output the damage. But yeah, I do agree with you. The Valentina third pick didn't make sense in the first phase. The only reason why I think that it made sense for Team SMG is that they just want to secure Stormy 0. Unfortunately, that's not the way to go. Because if you dial back game number 1, Stormy was the MVP because he had a very nice pick that countered, or at least gives them a winning situation in the latter portions of the game.
Well, now looking at the damage taken overall, Takashi actually taking a good amount with Louise. I thought King was going to be taking way more damage, but it didn't really matter. Nobody's hitting him back when they're knocked up in the air, and your team is just taking them out one by one. But even for Saksa, right, still receiving a spanking. I don't know how much he can take when sitting on these Secret Lab chairs. I know they're comfortable, but man, it's going to hurt the bum.
74,000. Even last game, we took a whole lot of damage. It's always, well, that's kind of the job of the utility jungler, though, right?
That's true.
Just gotta take it, man.
Just gotta take it. Well, I mean, on top of the fact of the EXP experience, with utility jungle experience, generally, you're supposed to get shafted, right? And for the rest of the team, you're just hoping that they're able to get to that point where they can actually fight back. And I think that, especially for Smooth, right? He was going for a build where he Hunter Strike into Bloodlust Axe, and eventually, I'm not sure what his third item was eventually going to be. Could have been the Malefic Roar, and even so, if he's looking for these big one-shots, there's just too many ways to actually outplay it. Like, Gusta was so far ahead. Once he had that Winsome Nature, it's like, what are you really going to necessarily do? Sagan had Purify as well. Even the knock-up strike, K-Thanks bye, I'm going to Black Shoes away.
It became very difficult for Team SMG because they lost the first turtle so badly. Had it been that maybe Smooth was at least surviving the K, Saksa gets the turtle, it will allow them to kind of rotate up top lane and maybe force some rotations in there as well. Like Nico with Sasa, that we talked about how the laning stage could be good for Sasa versus Bruno, but Bruno having the easier time at it no matter what happens. But if you put in the Matilda, that means that you will absolutely win that lane. Unfortunately, Nico had to think about many things in this particular game. Does he need to help Storm in the mid lane? Does he need to get into the turtle fight and actually aid Saksa? There's so many things that he has to take care of, and it kind of felt like Miko was just unfortunately not able to do anything because of the fact that he's trying to solve everything.
Yeah, and then on top of that, I mean, like, looking at the lane, yeah, it could be a bit more 50-50 like you said, Wolf, but in this game, I really just couldn't see the way that carry could deal damage. You need a proper front to back with